In Perth, Western Australia, this Saturday morning, WWE will be presenting Crown Jewel 2025. And this PLE is not for the present, ladies and gentlemen. This PLE is going to be for the future, as WWE has set up future storylines down the road into 2026. I'll explain as we go along, but let's start off with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky taking on Kairi Sane and Asuka, the Kabuki Warriors, after WWE had teased for weeks this breakup between Asuka, Io, Kairi finally came to fruition on an episode of Monday Night Raw when Rhea Ripley took on Asuka. Of course, Asuka would turn on Io Sky after Io Sky has been helping out Rhea Ripley. And to me, this is a match to get Rhea Ripley on the card in her hometown in Western Australia. Of course, she's from Adelaide, South Australia, but of course, in that same country, a homecoming, if you will, for Rhea Ripley. I think this match will build up with Io Sky and Kairi Sane kicking off the match. They're going to be building to the big hot tags between Rhea Ripley and Asuka. I think the big moment will eventually come when Io gets her hands on Asuka. I do think that WWE is going to let Rhea Ripley and Io go over in this match. The storyline is about Io Sky, so I'll be curious to see if she gets the pin with the over the moonsault on Kairi Sane, or if they let Rhea pin Asuka or Kairi for that matter with a riptide. Of course, we know that Asuka and Rhea, or excuse me, that Io Sky and Rhea Ripley have a history going back this year. They were in the triple threat together at WrestleMania. They were in the triple threat together at SummerSlam. Before that, at Evolution, they had one of the best one-on-one women's matches I had seen before Naomi came in and cashed in the Money in the Bank. We know the storyline surrounding Rhea Ripley that she cannot defeat Io Sky, but for one night they're going to team up. They're going to get revenge as Asuka and Kairi Sane have sort of gone their separate ways. I think Rhea Ripley and Io Sky go over. Now, I think Rhea goes over because also in his home country is Bronson Reed, who is not able to be at Perth, Australia, which is ironic because last year at Elimination Chamber, remember, he was supposed to face Seth Rollins one-on-one in 2024 for the World Heavyweight Championship, except his wife was giving birth at the time. With that in mind now, Bronson Reed is now a part of Seth Rollins' faction, the Vision, and of course he, after dominating Roman Reigns after the fact at Clash in Paris, after Roman Reigns defeated Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker took him out. Roman Reigns made his return to Monday Night Raw a couple weeks ago, and now they faced off an Australian street fight in order to get Bronson Reed on the card in his home country. And this, folks, is an example of what I say. The winner of this match, Roman Reigns, Bronson Reed, it technically does not matter because the more interesting aspect of this is twofold. Number one, do you believe that Seth Rollins' vision is going to be involved in War Games this year? I believe Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker will all be competing in War Games. So, with that being said, who will be on the babyface side? Could it be Roman Reigns? Could it be CM Punk? Could it be the undisputed champion Cody Rhodes? All of this is still what to be desired. But, WWE, we thought eventually we would be getting Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker. It has not happened. But they have sort of relegated Roman Reigns to the subplot here when it comes to his revenge on Paul Heyman, when it comes to the team of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Because the main storyline here is actually about a guy that's not even in this match, and that is main event Jey Uso. Of course, Jey Uso lost the World Heavyweight Championship in that epic encounter to Gunther on the June 9th episode of Monday Night Raw from Phoenix, Arizona. Since that moment, Jey has been obsessed. Roman Reigns with getting back the World Heavyweight Championship. He even eyed Cody Rhodes' undisputed WWE Championship at one moment. There are tensions lately where Jimmy Uso is telling Jey to stop being like Roman. Roman even telling Jey that this is his yard, handle his own business, get back the World Heavyweight Championship by being him. He got to the top by being main event Jey Uso. And now, is it possible that Roman Reigns becomes what Paul Heyman was to him, which is Roman Reigns becomes the wise man to Jey Uso, who then turns heel, and we get a Jey Uso 2.0, with Jimmy Uso as Jay's right hand man, like Jay was to Roman Reigns. Is there a possibility where Solo Sikoa's MFTs get involved in the storyline potentially down the road? So that's what I mean. Where yes, Roman Reigns still needs to get revenge on Paul Heyman. Yes, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins still have beef. Obviously, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes could face off down the line for the Undisputed Championship. Yes, we need to see Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker one-on-one down the line in the match, and Braun Breaker probably needs to go over there. But Roman Reigns went over at Clash in Paris, and I've been getting these things wrong most of the time. I keep thinking that WWE is going to want the vision to go over. In most cases, outside of WrestlePalooza, they have not. Maybe the stipulation is an excuse for Bronson Reed to take out Roman Reigns. Again, maybe Roman Reigns makes his return at Survivor Series inside War Games. There's so many things that could happen here. A spear for the announce table, tsunami for the announce table. These guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. Who will interfere on the side of Roman Reigns? Will it be Jey Uso? Will it be Jimmy Uso? Will CM Punk get involved? Will LA Knight, get involved? We know Braun Breaker is going to get involved for the Vision. Again, who comes out to help the OTC? I do think Roman Reigns goes over in this match. He stands tall with his cousins, but there is tension building. Then we get to the match that, as AJ Styles said Monday night on Monday Night Raw, does not need any story. It's very simple. This is John Cena versus AJ Styles, their first PLE match since the Royal Rumble 2017. That match is significant for two reasons. First reason was obviously the fact that John Cena became a 16-time world champion on that night, defeating AJ Styles for the WWE Championship. The second reason is this: that match is famous for not leaving the squared circle. And these two guys, AJ Styles, and wanted to beat up John Cena in his whole career. He did so at Money in the Bank 2016. He did so at SummerSlam 2016. They had some other multi-matches in between there as well. Obviously, Cena got his revenge, as I mentioned, at the Royal Rumble 2017. But John Cena and AJ Styles are just like John Cena and Randy Orton, just like John Cena and Edge, just like John Cena and Shawn Michaels, just like John Cena and CM Punk. I truly believe AJ Styles is one of those wrestling soulmates for John Cena and vice versa. AJ Styles' best matches in WWE, and he's been in WWE now, believe it or not, almost 10 years this coming January. You can make an argument his best rivalry was the one from 2016 to 2017 against John Cena. These are two guys who are aging. John Cena is obviously retiring in a couple of months. You have AJ Styles potentially retiring in the matter of 6 months at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. These two guys are absolutely going to put on a masterclass in professional wrestling. There's going to be phenomenal forearms. There's going to be styles clashes. There's going to be STFs. There's going to be five knuckle shuffles. There's going to be attitude adjustments. And there may even be an avalanche AA. There may even be a AA sweep underneath, hit him again, AA. There's probably going to be an attempt or even a connection with an avalanche styles clash. These two guys are going to go all out. They're going to have one final dance together. And I do think that this will be one of the last victories in the career of John Cena. If you missed it a couple weeks ago, I went through and I broke down my thoughts. I gave some of what I would like to happen, but I mostly gave what I thought was going to happen, which are two different things. On the John Cena retirement tour, his final 5 dates, which of course include this match in Perth. His next appearance after that will be the Raw in the TD Garden, Boston, Massachusetts, November 10th. Then it will be a Raw, Madison Square Garden, November 17th. Then it will be Survivor Series War Games Petco Park, and then it will be his last match at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. For AJ Styles, they cut that promo a couple weeks ago where he said somebody doesn't want him here and all that, and now Triple H is listening to the fans, and we finally get AJ Styles versus John Cena. I think this storyline may be potentially heading somewhere to get us to AJ Styles' last match. Against who? I don't know what. I do hope AJ eventually does win the Intercontinental Championship from Dominic Mysterio. Hell, I hope John Cena, on one of his last five matches, wins the IC Championship from the real Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio. But I don't know if that's going to happen in time. Okay, you want to make a star? I think you make a star by having Stephanie Valkyr, the women's world champion, pinning to the shoulders to the mat for the first time this year. The WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton, Tiffy time, as they compete for the Women's Crown Jewel Championship. Now we all saw that triple threat match between Tiffany Stratton, Jade Cargill, Nia Jax on SmackDown, how sloppy it was a couple weeks ago. It was one of the worst matches I'd ever seen in my, what would it be now? Damn near 18, 19-year existence of watching World Wrestling Entertainment. But I've always been a fan of Tiffany Stratton. She's still getting good reactions. I know I do prefer her as a heel over a face. I think she's an excellent baby face, and I think that her appearance, if you will, is definitely marketable to a young audience, to say the least. But WWE really wants to push Stephanie Valkyr. She's only been in WWE for a little bit over a year. They could have easily went the safe route, put the Women's World Championship back on Io Sky after the pregnancy of Naomi. But they decided to give this kid a push, and La Primera is getting over with the Devil's Kiss on the Monday Night Raw roster. And she has not defended that championship yet. This is her first real match as champion. So, my question isn't even who's going to win this match. I think Stephanie will win this match. Depends on how she wins it. Will she do a spiral tap? Will she do the Stephanie Valkyr powerbomb? I don't think it matters. I think the fact that Tiffany Stratton is undefeated on the year in singles competition going into this match, she has not had her shoulders pinned to the mat yet this year, and she won the championship on the first 3 hour SmackDown, January 3rd of this year. Feels like forever ago, doesn't it? Cashing in on Nia Jax. I think that's the way you get Stephanie Valkyr over. Not a lot of story here. I think it's going to be a good match, and I hope that they put on a better match than what Stephanie and Io put on. Everybody said it was a great match. I thought the crowd was kind of in for it. I thought it was kind of the cool down match, and I did like what they did last year with Nia Jackson and Liv Morgan when they competed at Crown Jewel. They got Tiffany Stratton involved. It was a very well done matchup. I hope they do the same this year when it comes to Stephanie and Tiffany. And then we get to for the first time since Hell in a Cell 2022. These two men will go one-on-one, featuring the undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins. And this whole build, Seth Rollins has said, I have to win. I have to beat Cody Rhodes. And he asked Paul Heyman in a backstage segment on Raw Monday night. He basically said, what happens if I don't beat Cody Rhodes? Which I think is very interesting because I always thought Rollins was going to win this match. I thought it would always make sense, right? I thought it leads to the War Games match I talked about earlier. I think the Roman Reigns Bronson Reed match and this match for the Men's Crown Jewel Championship do sort of intertwine. Cody Rhodes is the reigning defending undisputed Crown Jewel champion, defeating Gunther on that roll up last year in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. A shocking Gunther, one of his only defeats on the main roster in WWE. And so if Seth Rollins able to take them from Cody Rhodes, he is able to cement his vision, right? He is able to say he is the real leader. That Monday Night Raw needs to follow him. But as Paul Heyman pointed out, if he cannot defeat Cody Rhodes, if he goes 0-4 against Cody Rhodes, then does Braun Breaker turn on him? Does Bronson Reed turn on him? Does Paul Heyman turn on him? There's all these aspects here That would be a very interesting story to tell. Let me say the least. Of the American Nightmare came out victorious, but I do not think that's going to happen. I think by hook or by crook, Rollins is going to use interference, Breaker, Reed, maybe even Becky Lynch in this match. CM Punk, who promised to stay out of the way of Cody Rhodes' business, maybe he appears, maybe he does not. Who knows? He said on Monday on Raw that he's going to stay out of the business of Cody Rhodes, but he is dealing with Seth Rollins, and we know CM Punk does want the World Championship back. I say that to say this. I've been saying it forever that I think the men's War Games match for this year at Survivor Series is going to be the following. The Vision, Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed. They will team with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar, and Drew McIntyre. They will take on the team of Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Jey Uso, and one other competitor. And I believe that one other competitor will be John Cena. Now, you could do instead of Jey Uso, Randy Orton as well. And that's a toss up there between Jay and Randy as to who gets that fourth or fifth spot, if you will. But I think that is the teams for the men's War Games contest this year. And I think Seth Rollins, as he's been saying in these promos, he has to win. And WWE on Monday night aired this vignette, and it was part two. And it said friends between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And Seth Rollins, yes, he did help Cody Rhodes finish his story. He did help Cody Rhodes take down the bloodline at WrestleMania 40. But he did that because Roman Reigns was more powerful than Cody Rhodes. Seth Rollins needed to rid the WWE of the bloodline so that his vision could take over. And he was going to be friends with Cody Rhodes until Bad Blood 2024, where Cody Rhodes did the unthinkable and he let Roman Reigns, the OTC, team with him. It's about a year ago now. It's been about 370 something days. Team with him against Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Solo's Tamu bloodline. That is what stems from Kevin Owens attacking Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton looking at the Undisputed Championship, Drew McIntyre being pissed off at Cody Rhodes, and now Seth Rollins turning on Cody Rhodes. It's all because of that one decision of Cody Rhodes trusting the OTC. And in fact, as I've been saying it, and it remains true now over these past 5 years, believe it or not, folks, the WWE, most of the men's storylines still revolve around the OTC. But again, I do think Seth Rollins walks out victorious with a stomp thanks to interference by the Vision. So with that, I have Rhea Ripley and Io Sky picking up a victory over Asuka and Kairi Sane. I do have Roman Reigns, even though I do think Braun Breaker and the Vision will get involved. I think the Usos also get involved, and Reigns once again puts down Bronson Reed in the Australian street fight. I think in another classic, one last time, the never seen 17, the last real champion, gets his victory over AJ Styles. Stephanie Valkyrie will become the Women's Crown Jewel champion, while the Vision, Seth Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, thanks to his Vision and Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, who once again make appearances at the end of the night, stomp Cody Rhodes into the night, becoming the men's Crown Jewel champion and setting up the men's War Games match encounter with the Vision, Drew McIntyre, and the Beast versus Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, and John Cena. Like that clip from the Brand's World podcast? If so, make sure you go down there and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, make sure to also hit the notification bell so you never miss another upload. And make sure you check out all the other clips from the Brand's World podcast right here on YouTube.